What's up, guys? I want to do a deck profile with this particular list. Sorry I haven't been making videos in a while. I basically caught COVID at YCS Vegas, so I basically couldn't leave the house for like a week or so. I decided to do a deck profile on a combo deck. So combo decks are very far and few in between in Edison, except for Dragon Turbo, of course. But I wanted to introduce you another combo deck that I think has a good potential into the next meta, as we are seeing more frogs, seeing more play, but also against Blackwings as well. This deck can do really well if you are able to open up the two-card combos in this deck. For many of you guys call this deck the Gemini deck, but this is actually not a Gemini deck because it doesn't play the Blaze Wing Butterfly, but it does play the Gigaplant. So the start of the show here is the Gigaplant here. A lot of people don't know what the combo is for Gigaplant, so I'll try to hash it out real quick. It is not good for you to open up Gigaplant because you need to have Lone Fire in your opening hand to do the Gigaplant combo, because you need a plant to revive off of the graveyard to use Gigaplant. So the plant you want to have in your graveyard is going to be a Lone Fire Blossom, and Gigaplant is really good in this particular format because Gigaplant doesn't target a monster in the graveyard. In fact, it's kind of like Red MD, where it special summons either from your hand or the graveyard. It can also special summon an insect monster, but that's not irrelevant for this discussion. Being able to non-target special summon a plant monster makes this deck a lot more better against DD Crow, where in other formats where Lone Fire was only at 1, such as Tengu Plant format, this deck is not as good because DD Crow can interact really well. So yeah, the combo is you need to have Lone Fire in your opening hand or a way to get to Lone Fire to go into the Gigaplant, because, and this is the most important card in your deck, so you need to find ways to access Lone Fire as much as possible out of your deck. So I do max out on the UFO Turtles here. UFO Turtle is a recruiter that is not being played anywhere, and so I figured why not play a recruiter that no one's playing, such as UFO Turtle. So there's only one fire target in the deck, which is Lone Fire Blossom. So if you play the Lone Fire in your deck, sometimes it's best if you in games 2 and 3 to go through both your Lone Fires first before you go into the Gigaplant, because when you activate the Gigavise combo where you equip the Supervise. So this is the Supervise combo over here. If you equip the Supervise to the Gigaplant here, then that means that they get their effects as a Gemini monster. And then so when you activate the effect and you have two Lone Fire Blossoms in the graveyard, since this plays around one DD Crow, if they have the DD Crow, they have to respond to this guy's effect because you don't target. And if they DD Crow the Lone Fire out of the graveyard, you can just special summon the other one. So it's always impossible. It's always a very good idea in games 2 to make sure that you play around that. But in games 1, you play this deck a little differently, whereas in games 2 and 3 you don't. So in games 1, you actually want to only go one Lone Fire into the Gigaplant, because then you can have one Lone Fire in the deck so that your UFO Turtles have other targets when you open up this combo. So if you open up a Lone Fire and a UFO Turtle, then you want the UFO Turtle to have a target besides itself. And getting the second Lone Fire, leaving the second Lone Fire in the deck is key to doing that play. So that's pretty much the Heart and Soul of the deck. So this deck can generate tons of +1s by having this two combo together. And if you don't use your normal summon for the turn, this is why I like the UFO Turtle, is that if you set the card, the UFO Turtle, and they destroy it in battle, and let's say they have no more monsters to attack with, and you special summon a Lone Fire, then for the next turn, you don't actually use your normal summon when you use the effect of Lone Fire to go into the Gigaplant. And then when you do the combo, you can actually end on Gigaplant's Gemini summon because you have a normal summon for the turn, and then use the Gemini summon to special summon another plant. So, yeah. This deck gets kind of weird later, but I'll show you why it does. So I do play the one Titanial. For those of you guys wondering why I don't have a higher rarity of Titanial, there's a reason, because I firmly believe that higher rarities stack your deck. So I don't want to draw my Titanial in my opening hand. So, but anyways, the cool thing about Titanial in this deck is that it's reoccurable. So even though you negate and destroy a monster or a card that targets a card on the field, you can actually revive the Titanial back onto the field. Whereas in other decks, such as Quick Draw, for example, you have to make sure that you resolve Pot of Avarice, and then hopefully you don't draw her, and then have a Lone Fire to bring out the second copy of Titanial. But in this deck, if you have a Gigaplant out there and it goes uncontested on the next turn because for some reason your opponent can't out it, then you can just revive a Titanial, and that's almost as good as having a Pot of Avarice in your deck. This deck does not play Pot of Avarice, so just an FYI. She's part of your OTK as well. When you go through the Gigaplant combo, you don't really go into the Colossal Fire Armory Arm because it's really difficult to do that because you need to make a level 4. So that's kind of the hard part. The other plants I play are Nettles. The Nettles is very important because you want to go into your level 8s, and this helps you go into your level 8 as you are able to synchro with your Gigaplant, and then the Supervise will revive the Gigaplant as a new monster. You have to play the 2 Dandelion tokens, the 2 Dandelions in this deck. Even though it is a card that just generates tokens, it's still a very important part of your tools because in matchups where your opponent is playing Raikos, for example, summoning a Dandelion in attack mode and then attacking the Raiko to make sure that you have a favorable trade is the idea. But also because in cases where you open up with any of these tribute fodders, you're going to need tribute summon monsters. You're going to need tribute fodders to summon these guys. So that's why I like the Dandelion. And then I want to play the 1 copy plant because you need to be able to access Power Tool, and I think this is the only level 1 plant tuner monster. So being able to synchro the copy plant with the Gigaplant allows you to go into Power Tool Dragon to search for your equip spell. So you're gonna need to find ways to access this, and so this is how you do it. I don't play Hidden Armory in this deck because your normal summons are really important in Edison, so I don't suggest that you play that card. Unless you have like defensive cards in your hand, such as like Trag and Gores, but that's a different build of the deck. So this is where the deck gets really interesting. I do play the Fairy Engine. So the Fairy Engine plays the 2 Christia, the 3 Herald, the 3 Shining Angel, the Nova Summoner, and the Honest. I don't play the DD Warrior Lady. I couldn't find space for it, but DD Warrior Lady is theoretically good in this deck. So the reason why I play the Recruiters in this deck mainly is because to thin out the deck so that I can see the Supervise. But secondarily, being able to do your Gigavise combo along with having a normal summon, let's say you normal summon a Shining Angel with the Christia in hand, you can essentially make a really unbreakable board where you can end on a Christia next to like a Stardust or a Titanial. So if you have a Titanial and Christia, I always, if you guys remember back in my days where I had a plant fairy deck list, having these 2 out here is really good because this pretty much plays around the brain control. So where if they have to answer this without using brain control, and if they use brain control, your Titanial can just negate and destroy the brain control. So that's what I really like about having this particular engine. You also have access to a level 3 tuner that is both a hand trap. I really like Herald of the Orange Light. If you're trying to go for lethal, if you don't have the Christia, the Herald of Orange Light allows you to negate the Gores or the Battle Fader so that you can win the game. So that's why I play the Fairy Engine. So it's basically a 2-card combo. If you're able to see any of these 4 cards with Christia, and your opponent has a monster out there that you can crash all your angels, your fairies into, and special summon Christia, that's pretty much GG's for your opponent. But that's why I play the package. So the Herald of Orange Light pairs off really well with the spells in this deck. So playing cards like Mark of the Rose, for example, is a really good way of allowing you to steal your opponent's monster so you can synchro with it. I also play the Mind Control and the Brain Control. So with these 2 cards here, you can actually steal your opponent's monster and then synchro summon with it. Yeah, really good card. So that's why I play it. The other spells I play are MST and Heavy Storm. You're going to need these cards because you want to clear out your opponent's back row so you can do your combo really well if you're going second. The other monsters I play, I didn't play this in my tournament runs. I should have put Gores in my deck because Gores is a really good standalone monster. So going forward, I took out an ultimate offering out of this deck, which I should tell you guys what I play. I did play at the tournament runs. I was playing 2 copies of this. So the point of Ultimate Offering is that you could abuse your normal summons. Since you're playing Gemini monsters, you can abuse your normal summons by just normal summoning these guys. And your Gigaplant is a +1 because every time you normal summon a Gigaplant, it generates a +1. So basically, if you're able to go into Lone Fire off the Gigaplant, you can go Gigaplant again and then pay the 500 to normal summon this and then go into a Lone Fire. So this effectively makes the Ultimate Offering a +1 every time you resolve it. So that's why it's really good in this deck, and I recommend anybody to play more than 1 copy of this if you could find room for it. But I just haven't found room for it. So I play the Ultimate Offering, the one does shoot because it's broken in Edison. We have the Call of the Haunted so that we can revive our power monsters. So being able to do our power plays with Lone Fire is one of them, and then being able to revive Christia or Titano off the Call Haunted is just way too good. The way we have the two bottomless because we have black wings in the meta as well as frogs. So you want to hit bottomless the Caius. You also want to bottomless any black wing summon. And then we have the Mirror Force. Because this deck is weak to Catastor, you're going to need a Mirror Force in your deck so that you can kill Catastor. That's the main deck for you guys. It's a really interesting list. Extra deck, we'll go with the extra deck. So let's go through the level 8s. We have the Thought Ruler. We have the Colossal. We also have the Black Retrigo, the Stardust as our level 8 synchros. So these cards are needed when you have the Nettles. You'll go into Stardust very often. You'll go into this guy, so a lot of people don't know the ability of this. You can discard a Gemini monster to destroy a spell trap on field. I think it's only on your opponent's side. Yeah, your opponent has control of the spell trap. And then if this gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard, like a Sangan, then you're able to revive a Gemini monster from your graveyard, and it gets their effects, basically. So that's another application that you can use for this particular card. And then we have the Colossal Fighter and the Thought Ruler, depending on the situation. So those are your level 8s. Black Rose, because you do play plant monsters, so you can flip things to attack position. Ancient Fairy Dragon. I never went into that one. Most important one is Power Tool, because it is a synchro monster that generates you a +1 without attacking. So being able to search for your equipped. I do play six targets, so having 6 targets in your deck means that you can resolve this at least twice, assuming you don't draw any of the other cards out of your deck. So yeah, it's really nice to have the second copy so that you can just float. Oftentimes I'll put this in defense mode because its defense is 2500 defense, so it's really hard to climb over unless they have a monster that can climb over it. We have the Goyo Guardian for the level 6, the Urquasis, and the Brio. I never made any of these except for Goyo. And then I made the Catastor and Androids sometimes when I had Mind Control. And then we have the Armory Arm and the Chimera Tech. So that's the extra deck. Side deck is very variable, but you definitely need Pulling the Rug in your deck to hit Caius, because you are playing a recruiter deck. So if they're trying to Caius your recruiters, you have their Pulling the Rug to stop that. To contest the Dupe Frog lock, you have the Lightning Vortex, but that's all I sided for. I could side this for Vanity Fiend as well, or any deck that just likes to lock out special summoning, but it's mostly for Dupe Frog. Then we have the 2 Null Mana Crossed Out in the event that I'm going second against Quick Draw, or any deck that likes to useful effect monsters such as Raiko. I could just side these in, hit the Null Mana Crossed Out, and just summon my recruiters safely, so I don't have to worry about it getting popped. 2 Dust Tornadoes for any back row deck, as well as the Trap Stun for the DDV. So I took this idea off of Alex, who was the quick draw player in my area. So I took some of his ideas to play it. 2 Cyber Dragons for the Contact Visions, and 2 Consecrated Light. I think about cutting 1 Consecrated Light, or just cutting Consecrated Light altogether. It is good because you can go into it with Shiny Angel and Nova Summoner, but people side deck Devastation Virus to this deck because you are playing a bunch of small weenies. So yeah, going forward, I'll probably just cut this all together. I just don't know for what. A card I want to try out was Non-Fusion Area. This is a card that I wanted to use just to lock out Miracle Fusion, but it's whatever. It's just basically I wanted to try to find a card that was like Vanity's Emptiness, but for just fusion cards. But playing this card just for Miracle Fusion doesn't feel too good. And then I played the side deck with 1 Trinade. Never sided it either. But in theory, it makes sense because your opponent can have floodgates, such as Royal Oppression, and you want something proactive that you don't have to set. You have to set these cards to get their value. Whereas with Trinade, you could just draw into it, and then you just use it right away and then do your combo. So that's kind of the idea behind that. So let's go into the combo real quick. If you guys are interested in the gameplay video, I do have a gameplay video where it's like the same setup where it's POV. You get to see my hand and everything, so you can kind of see what I'm doing turn by turn. Just click out of this video and click on the next video where I do that. But if you guys want to see the combo, it's pretty simple. It's just Lone Fire. You guys are probably already know this combo. So you basically go Lone Fire effect, you tribute it, you go into the Gigaplant, and then if you open up the Supervise somehow, you equip the Supervise to the Gigaplant. You revive the Lone Fire from the graveyard, and then you use the effect to tribute it. Keep in mind this is game 1, so if you're doing this in game 1, only go through 1 Lone Fire, not the second one. From there, you're going to use the effect of Lone Fire to tribute itself. You're going to go into Copy Plant. Copy Plant does have the ability to change its level to a plant monster, but you're not going to do that. Immediately, you're going to Synchro Summon these 2 monsters, and then this is going to be sent to the graveyard because it's equipped. And then you're going to go into Power Tool Dragon, of course. And then the Power Tool Dragon, you're going to use the effect of Power Tool Dragon here to show the 2 Supervise and the 1 Mark of the Rose. Hopefully you get the second Supervise, because this is going to get revived off the graveyard with the Supervise being sent to the graveyard. And so let's say you have the second copy of Supervise off the Power Tool. Then you can use the Supervise here to equip the Supervise to the Gigaplant. Use the effect of Gigaplant to revive the Lone Fire, tribute the Lone Fire, and then you should end on a Titanial here as the card that you want to end on. So this is going to be your end board here. If you're afraid of like a Mirror 4, or you're afraid of like... Okay, so in Edison format, there's like nobody made next Lightning Vortex. But if you're worried about cards that destroy cards on the field, like such as Torrential, then what you could do instead of making Titanial is to go into the Nettles. So with Nettles, you have a level 8 Synchro material monster. And then you can just synchro these 2 together to go into the Stardust. So yeah. So there are combos where you, if you didn't normal summon the Lone Fire and you got it off of so this is the end board that you can go instead if you're afraid of like people destroying all your cards at once. But if you're not worried about that, then what you could do is, I guess this board is really good against Deep Sea Diva too. If they make Deep Sea Diva and go into Catastor, then Stardust can negate the Catastor. So that's the plus about that. But if you're worried about, if you're not worried about that, then what you could do is go into Titanial instead of the Stardust. So you'll have this with the Gigaplant with the Titanial next to it. So this is a really good board here that you can end on because the reason why is that you can use Titanial's effect to either tribute it off the Gigaplant, and then the Gigaplant will be revived because it was equipped to the Supervise, or you could tribute the Titanial itself, and then next turn you can revive the Titanial back. That's a good setup. And then if this is still there, you can use the effect to search for the Mark of the Rose or Supervise. So that's kind of the combo that you can do. If you didn't normal summon, like I was saying before, if you didn't normal summon for the turn, then you can use the, you can actually end up with Stardust as well as Titanial. That's why I really like this deck, is because you can end on this board right here, where you normal summon the Gigaplant, and then you're able to use Gigaplant's effect to revive the Lone Fire, and then go into Titanial. So there are variations where of the play where you can go into this, and that's why I really like UFO Turtle here, because you don't have to waste your normal summon, because you can set the UFO Turtle, and then that UFO Turtle gets you the Lone Fire, and then if you open up one Supervise and are able to search the second one with this, then this is your end board with the going second, basically, or not going second, but basically your second turn. You're able to end off with this, and that's really powerful, right? Because Quick Draw really likes these type of boards where it's like minus these 2 here. You'll have this and 2 tokens. That's kind of the only difference. But in this deck, you can end on things like this, where the Titanial can come back if you negate and destroy a card that targets. So if they go like Brain Control, for example, and they try to steal your Titanial or your Stardust or whatever it is, you can just negate it. This is like good to crack back against Brain Control. This deck is not really OTK, but it does put a lot of damage on board. So if this goes to attack position next turn and nothing gets affected, then you can use it to Gigaplant to revive a Lone Fire, and then go into another plant monster. If you want to go into another Lone Fire, you could, or you can go into Nettles. Sometimes I like to go into Nettles in the graveyard, so you can go into Nettles here and then synchro summon these 2 together, or you can just leave it like that, and this is a lot of damage as is. You can just attack over like a Raikou with this, and then if they just try to destroy something by targeting, you can just use Titanial's effect to negate the Raikou. So yeah, I really like this build. It is nice because if you compare pair this off with Ultimate Offering, then what you can do with the Ultimate Offering is you can normal summon like a Shiny Angel, so you can have an even more better board where you can have something like this, right? Like how I talked about before. But if you have like a Shiny Angel, right, and your opponent has a monster that's face up in attack position because they attacked over your UFO Turtle, you can just crash out the Angel, right, until you go to the 4th Fairy, and then you can special summon Christia. So this could be your end board right here in Edison format, where this is basically really much lethal because now you have like a really unbreakable board, and they can't really do anything to this, even a targeted Brain Control. So yeah, the combo is really good. I think this deck is really cool for combo purposes. So if you're playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh, this is a deck for you because you can play combo Yu-Gi-Oh on your first turn. But yeah, that's the deck profile for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was kind of long and it was kind of like combo friendly. But yeah, if you guys like that sort of deck list, then yeah, definitely try out this list because it has a lot of lines. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.